What is going on, everyone? It is Tyler McKinney back here again, and today we're going to get into XFL Week 3. We're going to get into our previews. All right, listen, if you haven't subscribed, you know what you need to do. All right, we're going to go right into it today. Let's skip all the pleasantries. Let's just get right into it. So we're starting off with our first game on Saturday. It's going to be the first game at Raymond James Stadium. Now, this game is going to be taking place in Tampa Bay at, like I said, Raymond James Stadium. This is the home opener for the Tampa Bay Vipers. And unfortunately for the Vipers, it's a little bittersweet, and we'll get to that here in a minute. But it's going to be a bright and sunny day, looking to be about 72, clear skies. It's going to look really nice. It's going to be a great day for a home game for the Vipers. They have Houston Roughnecks, one of the best teams and one of the most potent teams coming in to Week 3. They've got them coming in. We've got an undefeated Roughnecks team playing against a losing, winless Vipers team. Right now, this game is going to be starting at 2 p.m. on Saturday. It's going to be on ABC, and the spread right now is the Roughnecks are giving up 5.5 points to the Vipers. That's kind of where we're sitting at, folks, and this one is going to be an interesting game, not necessarily about what's going to transpire on the field, but just kind of why and how things are going to transpire. That's what's going to make this one intriguing to me. First and foremost, let's get the big elephant out of the room done and taken care of. Aaron Murray, he is going to be out for this game. That's right. He's going to be out for a second week in a row. And also on top of it, which is this one is a huge, just another huge blow for these Vipers, is that Nick Truesdale will not be playing either. Both of them will be out. So their star tight end and their starting quarterback will both be out of this game. What does that mean for the Vipers? Right now, I have absolutely no clue. We really haven't got any word on who's going to be starting this week, but after last week and what happened, I don't know how you can start Cornelius. I really don't. The way that he played and the upside to him, there isn't any upside compared to what you get with Quentin Flowers. If you ask me, I would turn the ball over to Quentin Flowers, give him the ball, and let him see what he can do with this offense. Now, let's go ahead and let's turn things over to Houston. Houston's looking pretty good this week. They've got a couple guys that have been banged up. Looks like Phillips has been kind of banged up. Looks like he's going to play. It seems to be he'll be looking like he'll be good to play. I don't really see a whole lot, when it comes to personnel things here for Houston. I think they're going to be coming in. I think they're looking good with things here. Now, let's go ahead and let's start to really hash this whole thing out and figure out what's going to go on this game. And again, I'm going to go back to the quarterback position. I really think that Tampa Bay needs to just stick with Quentin Flowers. I think that they need to just kind of forget about this kind of passing game philosophy thing that they've had, and I think they need to run the read option with him, but also I think they need to get the RPO action going on with him. So we know that they've added S.J. Green, the CFL legend who has signed with the XFL, and he was traded from the Dragons to the Vipers this past week, and that's a huge pickup, especially with Nick Truesdale being out. Having him and Williams on the outsides, I think, is going to be nice for them. And I think that that's going to give Quentin Flowers some guys to throw the ball to on the outside. I don't think you're going to get that traditional style of, passing game like what they wanted to do with Aaron Murray and possibly pull off with Cornelius. Now, who knows? Trestman might just come out and he might just stick to his guns and just be bullheaded about this and go with Cornelius. If they do, they're going to lose, and they're going to lose big. I think that this game really needs to revolve around Quentin Flowers controlling the game, slowing the game down, running the ball, getting the ball in Devon Smith's hands. He needs to be running the football. Now, granted, you've got some other guys with a couple change of pace guys in there with that as well at running back. But as I look at this, and when I'm, kind of looking at what I want to see, what I want to do, when it comes to running, I'm going to give Patrick the ball a few times, but I really like how Smith runs. Now, Patrick's been running decent too, but you take those three guys, Flowers, Smith, and Flowers, Smith, and Patrick, and you run those guys, and you run the heck out of them, and you run to set up the pass. Throw the pass 20 times this game. You don't need to throw it much more than that, and you just run the clock, and you just pound the ball. Do not get cute when you get in the red zone. Just keep pounding the ball and run some play action and give yourself an opportunity to stay in this game. Now, the reason why I think that they can stay in this game is because the Vipers' defense is a very, very good defense. Believe it or not, they're actually giving up. They're one of the top defenses when it comes to giving up yards. Now, they've given up some big plays, and you do have the big playability, which for Houston really helps for Houston. Houston is a big play type of a team. The question is whether or not if PJ Walker can get the ball out quick enough and he have enough time against this Viper defense. And I think that all in all, I think that he probably will. I think that he's going to have the time that he needs. I think that when I'm looking at this with it, I think he's going to be able to pass that ball around. I think he's going to be able to get his guys in the game. I think that you'll probably see Holly. Look, Phillips is the guy he likes to go to. Phillips is going to be good in this game. He's definitely going to get his shots. But I think that Holly's going to probably be a little bit more accentuated in this game than what he has in the past couple games. And now, granted, I know that, last game he still had, some receptions. But I think that you're going to see a little bit more out of him. I think that Lewis is definitely going to be a target. I don't see... I'm unless Coates really starts to pick up, I don't think that Sammy Coates is really going to be the guy here in Houston. I think it's Phillips, and then I think Holly, and I think you throw in Lewis there, and I think that I think Coates is still going to get some opportunities, but with the way that he is unreliable about catching it. Now, granted, he made a great catch. Unfortunately, he was out of bounds before he came back in and caught it last week to get him going. We'll see what happens. When I look at this game and I look up the matchups, the key for me is that I think that Houston's got a really, really good defense. I think that the Vipers have a good defense. It's what offense can really put something together, and I just don't have any faith in this Vipers offense really putting a whole lot together. However, I think that they have an opportunity here if they really use Flowers and control the ball and don't make mistakes, don't turn the ball over, make good decisions. Especially when they get within the 30 and into the red zone, I think that they can stick around in this game. Especially the way that the XFL is set up, how they do with that comeback period at the end of each half. I really think that would bode well for them to be able to try to come back to get into the game, and that with it. I think that they can play with Houston's defense, but I think that Houston's defense is going to be a tough matchup for them. But I think if they can pound the ball, they'll get enough success there with it. Let's flip it around now. Let's go ahead and let's look at the Vipers defense, which has been kind of one of the more stout defenses in the league. And let's look at that against this offense. I think that this offense is I think they're going to struggle early. I think that this Vipers defense is going to give them fits. However, I think as the game goes on, they're going to get stronger. Do I think that they're going to have the success that they've had in the past? I think that I think that they have the ability to do that. I don't think that this Vipers defense is going to pose that big of a threat to them. So, like I said, whether or not PJ Walker can have the time to get the ball out, I think that he's going to have the time, and I think that he's going to make the time for himself. I think that's going to be they're going to do what they're going to do, and I think they're going to be able to do that. The reality is that I don't see this game being a close game at all. I'll go ahead and give up the points all day long. For Vipers fans, I kind of feel bad for you and those who are going to be at the game. I really would like them to have a really nice turnout at the game, but unfortunately, I'm looking at they're probably going to have somewhere around maybe 15,000 people there, and in a stadium that holds 65,000 people, it's just going to feel a little flat. And with the Vipers, I think they're going to come out flat. And I don't think that their offense is going to play well. I think if they start Cornelius, they're pretty much throwing in the towel, if you ask me. I think that the defense can kind of keep him in there for probably 1 or 2, maybe 3 series, and then I think the floodgates are going to open, and I think that you're going to see probably Houston somewhere around 29, 31 points, maybe even up to like 37, 38, something like that, to I probably would say probably somewhere around 17, maybe 16 points. But on the bright side, I do believe that the Vipers will score their first offensive touchdown this week, and they'll start to get some things rolling. I really feel like this week is going to be one of those they need a win this week. If the Vipers can't win this week, I think that they're officially done and that their season's going to be over, especially if they don't have a healthy Aaron Murray. So this is really a make or break week for them, and if they can pull off the upset, I think that would be huge. I just don't see it happening, so I'll go ahead and give up the points. I'll go ahead and take Houston in this game. I like Houston in this matchup. I think that it bodes well for them, and I like that Houston offense against that Viper defense. Even though that Viper defense has been pretty stout, I just feel like the offense is going to make some mistakes, and I think that Houston's going to capitalize on that, and I think that this one's going to be over before half. I really feel like that, and that's just kind of my thought process, and unfortunately I think we're going to have kind of what we would consider a blowout, and I think the Vipers will score some late to kind of bring that score a little bit closer. But they're going to win by somewhere around 15, 20 points easy, in that, probably more on the 20-point side of things. So that's what I think about our first game on Saturday. All right, so let's go ahead and let's move to our second game on Saturday. And I think that this one is going to be a surprisingly really good game for people, and I think people are going to be surprised with what the outcome is of this game. Why do I think that? Well, you're just going to have to wait and listen and find out. All right, so we're going to Seattle. We're going back to Seattle this week where they were rocking the place there. They had almost nearly 30,000 people there, and I think that they're going to have a huge crowd again this week. And listen, they're going to have a lot better weather this week. It's not going to be all sunshine like it's going to be in Florida, but it is going to be nice. It's going to be a partly cloudy day. It's going to be 48 when the game starts at 5 p.m. Eastern time. And I think there at CenturyLink Field, I think that it's going to be a fun, it's going to be a rambunctious experience for them there. The Dallas Renegades are coming into town to face the Dragons, and this one is going to be a fun one. Now, this game is going to be on Fox. And the line for this game is that the Renegades are giving up 4.5 points to the Dragons. I'm really looking forward to this game. And listen, everybody now are kind of back on the Renegades. They're a good team. They're going to be a good team. Landry Jones, the second half, played really well last week. However, I feel like that these Dragons are going to come out and they're going to surprise us this week. What do I mean by that? Well, I think that everybody's kind of been on Brandon Silvers this past week, and I think that he's going to he's going to rise to the occasion in this game. I think that he's going to have a game quite like what he did in the first game against DC. Now remember, that's a very, very good DC defense. And what did he do? He had 3 touchdown passes in that game, and I think he's going to get back to that in this game, to where unfortunately I think the chance for BJ Daniels they're going to subside. And I think that Brandon Silvers is going to have himself a nice game here. I don't think that it's going to be one of those games to where he's going to be throwing like 250 yards. He's going to be somewhere around 200 yards, and I think that they're going to try to accentuate that running game a little bit more. I think Farrow, Williams, and Gardner, I think that they're all going to play really well. Farrow's been a little banged up to where I don't think you're going to get as much out of them. I think that they're really going to try to see what they can do with Trey Williams this week and try to get him more involved. I really want them to start to really kind of get him more involved in the game. For me, I really like his explosiveness and what he can do. I thought that last week they really, really struggled trying to throw the ball, and it was a wet, cold, kind of crazy game. It was a fun game, but it was a crazy game there in Seattle, and so they had a hard time of really trying to throw the ball and do anything. Now they had the big pass to Keenan Williams, and I think that they're going to use him definitely in kind of that role, that deep threat role, and I really want them to get back. So Austin Proehl, last week, he was pretty much non-existent at all. Now, granted, Brandon Silvers was non-existent at all. And I think outside of that one play to Keenan Williams, and I think that they'll probably try to hit Keenan Williams deep again this week, but I would like to see them try to Proehl was amazing the first week, and so I'd like to see them try to get the ball to him more this week. If they can rely on the running game and really complement it with the passing game with Silvers, I think that they'll do well. Silvers, I don't really want to see him throw more than 25 times in this game. I think that that's enough for him, and I really want him to be able to get the ball in space to those playmakers, to those running backs, those wide receivers, and allow them to make plays. Put him in the position to succeed and don't make him do too much this week, and I think that they'll do fairly well against this Renegades defense. This Renegades defense it's an okay defense, and I think that they do a good job. They did really good against LA last week for about 3 quarters. But I think that this team can exploit them, and I think that people are going to be shocked that the Dragons are going to be able to move the ball like they are going to be able to against them. I really do believe that Vipers defense is a really good defense. And so what we saw last week, I think, was a good defense holding back this kind of okay-ish offense. And so I think when you've got an okay-ish defense, that I think that this offense can really take advantage of that and really put up some points. So let's go ahead and let's talk about the Dallas Renegades. And it all starts with Landry Jones. And last week, Landry Jones, he looked good once he got the rust off. And he really needed to get the rust off of him and really get moving and shaking with that. And I thought after he got that done and, got those interceptions out of the way and that with it, and then started really playing, I thought he started doing really well. He found some guys that he could definitely hit. He's got Badette. He had them and I'd like to see them try to get Badette in some more opportunities to really kind of take advantage of his athleticism. Parham, I think they do exactly what they did with him last week. Let him use his big body and his reach to his advantage, and I think that they're going to continue to do that with Landry Jones and him. But really, what stood out to me last week was they figured out how to run the ball. And if they can continue to feed the ball to Artis Payne, I think that they're going to do really well. I think that they can exploit this Dragons defense. And with him and Dunbar, getting him and Dunbar the ball, I think they've figured something out. And a lot of it has to do with that they finally got the passing game running, and it opened up the running game for them. So we'll see, kind of what happens throughout things. But I think that they're definitely going to they're going to be able to get their stuff here with this Seattle team. However, the thing that kind of has me is just that 12th man. It's that CenturyLink Field is just a weird place for teams to come in and play. And I feel like that's going to be the case here for the Renegades. I feel like they're going to score their points. They're going to get a lot of yards. But I think that Seattle is going to get their fair share too, to where come towards the end of the game, I think Seattle's going to be right in this game. I think that people are going to be surprised next week. This is going to be kind of one of those shocker games that I think people are, when they look at it, they're going to see that it was a fun game. It was a back and forth game between two good teams. And I think that, I really do believe that, I think that Seattle's going to win this game. Not only am I going to take Seattle, and I'll go ahead and take those 4.5 points, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick them. And a lot of it has to do with, I think that this crowd's going to be crazy. They're going to be in the game. And I think that this Dragons team is going to feed off of that. And I think that it's just, like I said, there's something weird about that CenturyLink Field. And so I think that they're going to play well. I think that they're going to do that. So as I look at this, I'm definitely going to go with the Dragons in this game. And I think that this is going to be the shocker one for people. And I think that people are going to kind of start to try to... they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do with Brandon Silva. Because right now they've got him kind of pigeonholed into this, not very good, because of he wasn't very good last week. And I think that he's going to kind of flip the script on that this week. And I think it's going to really show that there are some holes in that Dallas defense. And I think they're going to exploit that. So I think that it's going to be a fun game on Saturday, after late afternoon, early evening to watch. And I think that we're going to get ourselves a nice little show there on Saturday. So yeah, give me the Dragons and give me the points. So guys, that pretty much finishes it up. That's kind of what I've got for Saturday's games. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear down in the comment section what your guys' picks are, who you've got for Saturday's game. Now, remember, we're going to be rolling things on around, and I'll definitely be hitting up Sunday's games as well, so be staying tuned to the channel and be looking for those games to come out as well. But right now, that's pretty much what I have. So, I know that you're busy, and I know that I'm busy, so let's get on out of here. You have a good night. Bye.